Hey guys, wanna hear a joke? What did one cell say to his sister cell when she stepped on his toe? Anybody? Mitosis! No? Okay. So mitosis results in growth, embryonic development, tissue repair, and asexual reproduction. Without mitosis, these essential functions would not be possible. But when mitosis goes out of control, it can cause cancer. So let's talk about cancer. 7.6 million people die each year from cancer, and that's about 20,822 people per day. There are over 200 different types of cancer that are known, but there's still so much more that we don't know about cancer. So in this episode, we're going to talk about how cancer develops and affects the body. So cancer is known as a malignant neoplasm in the medical field. Cancer encompasses a broad group of diseases relating to fast and unregulated cell growth through mitosis. When the cells grow too fast and in an uncontrollable pace, they form tumors. These tumors can either be benign or malignant in any organ or tissue. Benign tumors are harmless, but malignant tumors are bad. Since cancer is a result of uncontrolled cell division through mitosis, we should review the cell cycle. For an in-depth explanation of mitosis, you can rewatch this episode of Crash Course on Mitosis. But in case you're too lazy to go click that link, here's a review. The cell cycle starts with interphase, which is the active part of cell life, where metabolic reactions occur, including protein synthesis, DNA replication, and increased mitochondria. Interphase is split into 3 stages. G1, which means growth phase, is just the growth of the cell. Synthesis is the replication of DNA, which make up chromosomes. Eukaryotic chromosomes are made of DNA and proteins. In G2, which is the second growth phase, is when the cell grows and gets ready for mitosis. After interphase comes mitosis, which has 4 phases: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Prophase is when the chromatin becomes tightly coiled. Nuclear membrane disintegrates, and the spindle fibers form. In metaphase, the chromosomes move to the equator of the cell, and the spindle fibers begin to attach to the centromeres of the chromosomes. Then we move to anaphase, where the spindle fibers pull the chromatids away from each other to opposite sides of the cell at the centromeres. A nuclear membrane starts to form at each set of chromosomes in telophase. Then finally comes cytokinesis, or the splitting of the cytoplasm of the cell, where the cell separates into 2 separate cells from the cleavage that forms. Cleavage. And cytokinesis is also the last stage of the cell cycle. So cancer has many causes, some of which are still unknown. If you want to know more, you can just Google it or something. Just kidding, I'm going to tell you all about it. Carcinogens lead to gene mutations, which oftentimes lead to cancer. Carcinogens like tobacco, UV exposure, and radiation are the most common carcinogens that lead to cancer. Also, tobacco smoke can lead to lung cancer, while UV exposure can lead to skin cancer. These carcinogens lead to gene mutations, which are random, rare changes in genetic material, sometimes resulting in uncontrollable cell division or tumors. And that leads us to this week's biography. So Hippocrates lived from 460 to 370 BC in Greece. The origin of the word cancer is credited to the Greek physician Hippocrates, who is considered the father of medicine. Hippocrates used the terms carcinos and carcinoma to describe non-ulcer forming and ulcer forming tumors. In Greek, these words refer to crab, most likely applied to disease because the finger-like spreading projections from a cancer called to mind the shape of a crab. That's pretty cool, man. So in the 1700s, a British surgeon by the name of Percival Pott discovered the first cause of cancer when he discovered that scrotum cancer cancer isn't funny. That scrotum cancer was common among chimney sweeps. Then in 1875, Campbell de Morgan formulated the idea that cancer metastasized or spread to the rest of the body through the lymph nodes. So common types of cancer include breast cancer, lung cancer, bladder cancer, and leukemia. When lung cancer occurs, the cancer cells develop in the air passages of the lungs. Lung cancer has two forms, small and non-small. Non-small lung cancer spreads to the lymph nodes and other parts of the chest, whereas small cell lung cancer is resulted from smoking and spreads much faster throughout the body. Today, many more people have discovered various different treatments of cancer, such as radiation, chemotherapy, surgery, and drugs. Some of these treatments can severely damage parts of the body, so stem cells are used to fix you right back up. This is because stem cells retain the capacity to divide and have the ability to differentiate along different pathways. So basically, they can become many different types of cells. Chemotherapy kills the cancer cells, but also the normal cells in the bone marrow. This means that the patient cannot produce any more blood cells. Blood is composed of plasma, erythrocytes, leukocytes, and platelets, which are essential for you to live. Blood also transports nutrients, oxygen, carbon dioxide, hormones, antibodies, urea, and heat. Therefore, blood is good, because it helps you live. The cancer patients can undergo a bone marrow harvest, in which stem cells are removed from the bone marrow. This is an autologous transplant because it comes from the patient. Alternatively, if stem cells cannot be used from the patient, they can then be harvested from a matching donor. This is an allogenic transplant because it comes from someone else. There are also syngeneic transplants, which come from your twin, triplet, quadruplet, and so on. The stem cells are transplanted back into the patient through a drip. These transplanted stem cells will then find their way back to the bone marrow and start to produce healthy blood cells in the patient. The therapeutic use of stem cells in bone marrow transplants is very important, as it allows some patients with cancer to undergo high chemotherapy treatment. Without this therapeutic use of stem cells, patients would only be able to take low doses of chemotherapy, which could lower their chances of curing the disease.
Thank you, stem cells.
Okay, so I know that we've covered a lot of information in this episode, so if you'd like to go back and review, just click on the labels on the right here. Yeah, over here you see them?